Okay, guys, we gotta wrap some Pokemon. You just do the singing, I'll take care of the hard part. Let's get it on. I want to be the best there ever was. To beat all the rest, yeah, that's my cause. Electro, Diglett, Nidoran, Mankey, Venusaur, Rattata, Vero, Pidgey, Seaking, Jolteon, Dragonite, Ghastly, Ponyta, Vaporeon, Poliwrath, Butterfree. Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon. This is surprisingly hard. I'll search across the land, look far and wide, release from my hand the power that's inside. Venomoth, Poliwag, Nidorino, Golduck, Ivysaur, Grimer, Victreebel, Moltres, Nidoking, Farfetch'd, Abra, Jigglypuff, Kingler, Rhyhorn, Clefable, Wigglytuff. Gonna skip that chorus because it's the same as the last one. Zubat, Primeape, Meowth, Onix, Geodude, Rapidash, Magaton, Snorlax, Gengar, Tangela, Goldeen, Spearow, Weezing, Speel, Gyarados, Slowbro. Yep, that's the same chorus. Not going to repeat that.
You're so lazy.
I'm trying to speed this up. Kabuto, Persian, Paris, Horsey, Raticate, Magnemite, Kadabra, Weeping Bell, Ditto, Cloyster, Caterpie, Sandrew, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Golem, Pikachu. At least 150 or more to see. To be a Pokemon master is my destiny. Alakazam, Doduo, Venomoth, Machoke, Kangaskhan, Hypno, Electabuzz, Flareon, Blastoise, Poliwhirl, Oddish, Drowsy, Raichu, Nidoquest, Bellsprout, Stormy. You want to be depressed? That's the halfway point.
Go on.
You want me to keep going? You don't want me to say it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Taking a breath. We're at the halfway point. We're doing great. What's all this we stuff? I'm doing all the hard work. Break time's over. Here we go. Banter. Metapod, Marowak, Kuna, Clefairy, Dodrio, Seadra, Firebloom, Krabby, Lickitung, Tauros, Weedle, Nidoran, Machop, Shoulder, Porygon, Hitmonchan. Gotta catch 'em all, yeah. Gotta catch 'em all, yeah. Articuno, Jinx, Nidoran, Beedrill, Haunter, Squirtle, Chansey, Pokemon, Parasect, Execute, Nook, Dugong, Pidgeotto, Lapras, Voltrex, Rhydon. Skipping the chorus again. Charizard, Machop, Pinsir, Coughing, Dugtrio, Golbat, Staryu, Magikarp, Ninetales, Ekans, Omastar, Cypher, Tentacle, Dragonair, Magmar. Whoa, catch your breath, man. Shake out those lips. Thank you, I will. It's downhill from there, just 24 more to go. So now it gets tricky, so listen real good. Sandslash, Hitmonlee, Psyduck, Arcanine, Eevee, Executor, Kabutos, Zapdos, Dratini, Growlithe, Mr. Mime, Cubone, Graveler, Voltorb, Gloom. We're almost home! Charmeleon, Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacle, Aerodactyl, Armanite, Slowpoke, Pidgeot, Arbok. That's all, folks.
Hey! Excellent.
Valiant effort.
That was fantastic.
I'm going to have to go get some oxygen. Bear with me.
Hello and welcome to the Pokemon podcast. This week we're going to be spending about 2 hours talking about our favourite Pokemon of the week, and then talking about some Pokemon news, and then talking about our favourite levelling strategies.
Yep, sounds good. I'm not going to lie, when I was doing that Pokerap, I was just thinking, I don't remember half of these Pokemon.
There were a lot of them. We are expecting you to do Generation 2 next week.
Nope, that's not happening.
Oh dear.
Introduce yourself, get on with it.
Hello and welcome to the Button Mash podcast. We are not exclusively a Pokemon podcast, but we won't object to talking about it from time to time. We're a video gaming podcast. That was naturally the Pokerap, sung by Michael.
Hello. I tried. Leave me alone.
You did very well.
I just skip the choruses. Nobody cares about the choruses. They're not the integral part of the song.
No, we're not here for the choruses. We're joined this week by Will, once again.
Hello.
Welcome back. We should be here for somewhere around 2 hours talking about video games and video games accessories. So I'm going to be talking about our gaming experiences for the week, and then we're going to have some gaming news and some gaming releases for the week as well. Got all that to look forward to.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm. So why don't we kick things off as we do? We're talking about our favourite Pokemon. Michael, what's your favourite Pokemon?
Ooh, this is difficult. I think if I had to think about it, it would be Ealf.
Meowth. That's a terrible choice. That was a really annoying Pokemon.
Yeah, just solely because he had the greatest Japanese voice in the Japanese anime vein.
I never watched the Japanese version, I'll be honest.
Yeah, you have to if you want to see the Polygon one.
Well, I don't want a seizure, to be quite honest. Thank you. I'm good without seizures. I'm all seizured out.
But you get to see me, you get to hear Meowth's beautiful Japanese tone of.
Okay then. Well,
That's pretty
good
much
to
it.
know. Right. How about we do some gaming experiences for the week instead then? What you guys been playing?
What's Will's favourite Pokemon?
Oh, do we have to? Okay, we have to do this then. Go on, Will. What's your favourite Pokemon?
Oh, definitely Charmeleon.
Charmeleon was solid.
Charmeleon is it was just sort of the halfway point. It's like you got a really cute form and you got a really badass form. Why the halfway point?
I don't know. It's it's on the way to Charizard. It's a journey.
Okay.
Pokemon's all about the journey.
Fair. Yeah, I suppose in many respects. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. Am I getting asked what mine is?
No, we don't really care.
Oh.
No, go on, what is it?
Eevee! Eevee's awesome.
Oh, of course.
It's because Eevee is such a versatile Pokemon.
Yeah, I really like Jolteon out of the evolutions because there were only 3, of course.
Yeah,
No,
Yes.
that was never changed.
That never changed.
Yes.
It would be sacrilegious.
If one were to hypothetically for a moment acknowledge the existence of later generations,
Oof. Slow down.
Oh,
when one could actually, breed Eevees and stuff. I can't remember. Could you actually get more than one Eevee in the first game?
No, you had to do a second playthrough.
Right,
I never liked this concept of Pokemon breeding. That's not how it worked.
I didn't mind Gen 2, if I'm honest, and I did collect all 5, I know, sacrilege Eevees. I did have a team of 5 Eeveelutions, plus an Eevee just for good measure, so it's just 6 Eevees.
Yeah.
you're
Which is
probably
pretty
one
cool.
of those.
It was a
You're
novelty team, but
You're probably one of those people that preferred Professor Ivy to Professor Oak.
they're all pretty much nutter butters. They couldn't even tell whether I was a boy or a girl.
Professor Oak was the man.
Okay, then. You have your way.
He was the badass of Pokemon research.
The badass.
Yep.
Okay, then. Right. I don't know where to go from here. I am lost for words.
Gaming, what have you done this week?
Yeah, let's do gaming. Anyone played anything cool?
Well,
Nope.
I've been taking full advantage of the Halloween sale on Steam, and I bought a lot of things. Most notably, I bought all of the Legacy of Kain series, and the Fall, which I really enjoyed. I played through all of that today.
I never played the Legacy of Kain first time around, so I'm not particularly all that familiar with that, and I don't think I've even heard of the Fall. So go on.
Well, Legacy of Kain obviously is a PS1, PS2 series, and I never got to play these as a kid. So this is me living out a little bit of my childhood fantasy. Vampires fighting vampires, or what's left of vampires fighting what's left of vampires.
Okay, then.
But yeah, everybody knows what that's about. I'm not really going to delve into that.
I'm not sure I ever particularly did, but okay. I know I did get offered earlier in the week a chance to play the alpha. Is it alpha or beta? One of those two of Nosgoth, which I believe is part of the Legacy of Kain universe or series or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that came with the bundle, and it's more of an online multiplayer kind of deal. And I'm just ignoring that for now.
Well, I was going to take a look at it, but they seem to have ignored me. They were like, "Hey, do you want to play our game?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, go on. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of your name before, so you must be fairly famous." And then they never got back to me, and it was like, "Oh." Okay.
We were just kidding with you.
I was gonna say, yeah, it seems like it. And then I've seen other big channels of pop up. It's like Nosgoth content. I was like, crap, this is the next big thing, isn't it? And I don't know what I nearly had a chance to get in on it. Oh.
Maybe
I may have a look at it, but I'm not expecting high things.
Okay.
Maybe you didn't show enough enthusiasm when you sent off your email.
I was fairly enthusiastic. How much enthusiasm do they want?
You should have gone, please.
You didn't sacrifice humanity for it.
Okay. I didn't promise
or
them a glowing
jeopardize
review
time
because,
itself.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
That's a key marketing thing that you have to put in emails these days.
I am prepared to jeopardize time itself.
Good. Then you won't have any gaming-related issues in the future.
I'm also open to corruption in the games media. I am not. I should stress that. That was a joke.
We're 10 minutes in, and I might have to break out the disclaimer.
I'm only stressing my own personal standards, not the company standards.
We're a company.
Well, we have talked on many occasions about the potential of becoming a company. We're not yet, but we might well be within the next 6 months or so.
Stay tuned. We'll let you know on this podcast when we're officially a company.
We will. Yes, I'm quite sure. Not that I think it makes any practical difference to anybody else other than us and the tax man.
Yeah, but the taxman's just waiting with bated breath.
Yes, absolutely. So go on then. The Fall. What is The Fall? Because I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, it's released I think in May this year. It's a side-scrolling action puzzle type, and what I've really found interesting about this game was your character is not the person inside the suit, but the suit itself. So the game opens with you falling from space, and as you hit the earth, the shield in your combat suit engages, and you plummet straight down into a cavern. And it all looks exactly like Limbo,
Right.
as many of this type do. But Limbo with robots, so
Robots
not
still
too
lacking
bad.
from Limbo.
I mean, I'm looking at it on the Steam page now. Actually, I'm getting kind of I don't know if you ever played it, but I'm getting a bit of a Shadow Complex vibe from looking at the screenshots and stuff.
No, I've not played that. I might have to look out for it because I do like this genre.
I don't know if it is the same thing. It's kind of got that. It's just the sort of the 2D, side-scrolling exploration with the pistols and stuff kind of thing. It may only have been on XBLA. I don't know if they ever did launch Shadow Complex on anything else, if I'm quite honest. And
Fair.
that was more of a. That was more steering towards Metal Gear Solid kind of genre of things in some terms of theme, certainly. Sort of a bit more espionage-y, I guess. What I'm seeing from here, I mean, I've only got screenshots to go on from this, to be quite honest, really.
Okay, well, yeah, there's lots of hiding behind boxes, but the combat isn't detrimental. I've never died from combat. It's a fairly short game, but fortunately, it is one of a 3-part series. So we're looking for the next part in maybe fall of next year.
Don't put them out very quickly then, are they?
No, I think it's a very small team.
Okay, alright, fair enough.
Well, if they were based in Bradford, they'd be kicking these out by now.
Yeah, them development costs. Is it kind of a buy it once you get the whole thing when it eventually comes out kind of thing, or do you have to buy them all separately?
No, you have to buy them all separately.
Right, okay, fair enough.
But it didn't cost me that much, and especially in the Halloween sale, it was only like a little over £1. So,
oh wow, that's nothing then, yeah.
Not going to complain.
I can't say I'd actually particularly looked into the Halloween sale too much. The only thing that popped up for me was there's Transistor, which wasn't even part of the sale. There was just a weekend deal, and it's like, it's half price, it's £7.50, which by some magnificent coincidence is exactly the same amount of money as I had in my Steam wallet, purely from selling Steam trading cards over the last few months.
So have you not played Transistor?
I have not, no.
Wow, I thought you'd be well into that.
It's something I'd very much had on my radar, but I'm a poor man. I have no money.
Of course.
So I was like, well, it's £15. I could play Transistor or I can eat.
It was really, really expensive, especially for the length of the game.
Right.
It's definitely got replayability, but not a lot of content in it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I don't mind short games. Short games work for me because it means I'm more likely to actually finish the bloody things.
Yes, that's what I've been working through this week, is just little games that I know aren't going to take me forever. Because I need a little bit of sense of achievement every now and again in between Alien, which is still taking forever.
Okay, fair enough.
So not much progress with Alien then, Will?
No, but I haven't run out of flamethrower ammo yet, so I must still be on the up.
So it's lasted another week.
Yes.
Okay. Gotta hang into that flamethrower.
Good.
Yeah, definitely. The alien does seem to pop up 5 seconds later. It's no permanent solution, but it means that you don't have to start again from scratch.
Fair enough. Does it not like save? Do you have checkpoints? Does it like start the game from the beginning if you die or something? What?
No, there are loads of save points. Probably too many, but you do die a lot, so I'm not going to complain.
Okay then.
Having said that, I probably died more in the first 10 minutes of The Evil Within than I died throughout all of playing Alien.
Fair enough. Okay. I have not heard particularly fantastic things about The Evil Within, although my main frame of reference for that is Yahtzee's review, but god damn did he slate that.
He did, and for good reason as well. But I've backshelved it for now because it's confusing as all hell playing 2 horror games at once with very different
Right.
control systems.
Okay.
So because of Yahtzee's review and because I can't be bothered, I'm just going to shelve it for now.
Okay.
That's the spirit.
That's going into the collection, never to be played again.
I will. I promise. I will pick it up.
I've heard that one before. I've said that one before. Oh dear.
Oh.
I've said that several times in the last few weeks. I've had a few games lately. I'm like, yeah, this is a really good game. I mean, I played a few hours of it to review it, but actually, I really like this. I'm gonna finish this. I've then categorized it in my Steam library and currently playing. My currently playing quote unquote section is now about 12 games. Many of them I ain't played all that recently. What have I got in there? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, exactly 12 games. One of them is 1, 2, 3, kick it, drop that, beat like an ugly baby.
Yeah.
Does it say? Oh, so it used to say. I think that's perhaps indicative. I was going to say it used to say last played on date, but it doesn't even say anymore. The last time I played that was so long ago. I don't know if they're actually still that was kind of in alpha, beta, early access or something, and it has been since 2010.
I think there are some games that are just determined to never be fully released.
I'm going to check their store page, because that one, yeah, it does still say early access. Yeah, they haven't finished that one. I felt like I would have heard about it if they'd actually, finished the damn thing. Yeah, I bought that one from them via email before they'd even put the game on Steam. When they were charging more for it before they put it on Steam and started charging less for it. Which is like, god damn it, guys! Seriously, this is how you reward your early committers, backers, whatever.
Hey, sometimes it happens.
Well, yeah, I know, but whatever. Also, Age of Wonders 3. I ain't played that in a bloody long time. Last played 19th of July. I almost got a date on it.
That's a fair while ago.
Starbound. Last played 26th of January.
Wow.
This is still categorized as quote-unquote currently playing.
I was going to say, that sounds like a really good idea and I should probably do it, but I know I'll go exactly the same way you have.
It doesn't get maintained at all. I throw things in a category and forget about them.
I think this is a potentially good YouTube series for you, John. Revisiting the games that you half finished and going back to finish them.
To be fair, I put 60 hours into Starbound. This is a game that was in early alpha at the time. I put 60 hours in the course of a few weeks, burned the hell out of that game, and then I was like, okay, I don't want to play Starbound anymore.
Did you film any of this?
About 30 seconds of it.
Did you upload it?
Yes.
And where can people go to see this footage?
Jesus Christ, that was a tenuous one. Clutching at straws there.
Yeah, I made me work for that one.
That one, that can be found, well, if you can find it, that was a very long time ago. That could be found on my channel at youtube.com/buttonmashempire.
Thank you.
But good luck finding that one. That one was my Christmas video. I did 30 seconds of me playing Jingle Bells on the guitar in Starbound, I think. Which was about, yeah, that was my Christmas video. It was like, I want 2 minutes of non-content to put out on Christmas Day, so I'm going to play Jingle Bells in Starbound.
What do you want to do for the Christmas podcast?
I don't know. Does Christmas fall on a Sunday? Do we have to do a Christmas podcast or something?
No, it's just to the season. I would have thought.
Well, I suppose. No, Christmas is a Thursday this year.
Oh dear.
We don't have to worry about that for a few years yet.
I love the fact you think this is still going to be going a few years.
Of course it will. Why wouldn't it be?
Ooh, what else have you been playing?
I have been playing this week. I played a little bit of Natural Selection 2 Combat,
All right.
which is very similar, as far as I gather, to the original Natural Selection 2, but Natural Selection 2 is kind of a hybrid of first-person shooter and real-time strategy, and was really heavily dependent on the one person who was doing the real-time strategy part of it to be good at real-time strategy, and if they weren't, you were fucked, and you lost every time. So, they've kind of stripped away the real-time strategy, and now it's just a cool Aliens versus Marines team-based first-person shooter thing. And one side gets to play Aliens, the other side gets to play Marines, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm really, really god-awful at it, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm so bad, I'm the reason the team's losing bad.
Well, that's you should be ashamed of yourself then.
I am. I'm thoroughly ashamed of myself. Yeah, it's got a system similar to games like any MOBA, Dota kind of thing, League of Legends, whatnot. Insofar as if you kill an opponent, you get XP for it, and it's kind of got a leveling up within the match system. So at the end of the match, everybody goes back to 0 for the next match. But within the course of a match, you will level up to a maximum of level 15, and you'll get more powers and cool things and really awesome stuff. And the higher level you are, the more damage and cool shit you'll be able to throw at the enemy and utterly destroy them. The downside to this is if you die a lot, the enemy gets really, 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 really fucking tough, and you are still really squishy and crap.
That doesn't sound like it's well balanced.
Well, it's worked fine for Dota and League of Legends and everything else in its ilk for years now, and it works. It works as long as you're not really, really awful at it.
Yeah.
That's how most things work.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a fairly well-matched thing, both sides should level up approximately equal to each other. But that's one of the issues everybody's always complained about, unless you really get into it. I was going to say, most people getting into a MOBA, it's kind of one of the things everyone complains about, is that it tends to snowball. If one person gets an early game advantage, that quite quickly escalates. It's like, okay, I'm now stronger than you because I've got some kills on you earlier on, so now it's even easier to kill you more times, therefore I get more XP, therefore I can kill you more times, therefore I get more XP, therefore, by the way, I'm a god and you're still squishy.
Oh wow.
So yeah, in this one, yeah, you're alien. You got this. You start out as this little scrawny, little squiddy-based alien, little tiny squiddling alien, scuttling around the ship, climbing up walls, going through air vents and stuff. And your job is mainly ambushing early on. So you can climb up onto ceilings and vents and things, and you're supposed to lurk in the shadows and leap down on the Marines and kill them that way. And as you level up, you turn into this giant fuck-off tank thing that it takes up the entire bloody corridor, and you're stomping around, breathing fire and smashing things. And the Marines are, it has a very similar... I think early game, I would say the Marines have an advantage insofar as they've got the extra ranged abilities and a bit more firepower, so they can take care of aliens from further away, but they maybe don't progress quite as much until really late game when they start stomping around in huge mechs, basically. So, if you're not very good as an alien, you're still scuttling around as this little squiddy thing, climbing up the walls and leaping on people, and you go up against some guy in a huge friggin' armoured mech. It's like, he's going to kill you every time, and there's no way you stand a chance. Your only hope is to have gotten enough XP earlier on in the game that you can be the giant tank thing.
You never know. The guy driving the tank may have serious health issues and crash into something.
Yes, but presumably by virtue of the fact that he's got the tank in the first place, he must have been pretty decent at the game to begin with.
Yeah. Okay.
Or killed a lot of noobs like you. Not you personally, but you.
Oh, definitely me.
You speaking generally, are you referring to me in this instance?
So he's just killed you like a dozen times and built up the XP.
Yeah, basically, that's what I'm saying. I am the reason that we lose. Because I die so many times, the enemy is vastly superior to our team. That's why I hate that game. The design of it is fantastic. It's a great concept, but I am so bad at it that I am the reason the enemy is vastly outstrips our own combat abilities, and we lose. So don't play with me.
And that's a butter mash top tip.
Actually, interestingly enough, I mean, a lot of the stuff I was playing was kind of the sort of arranged press groups and stuff. So the game came out on Friday, and it was like this. Like, okay, we obviously realized the need for the press to be able to play an online multiplayer game before launch. So it's like at these times, everybody can get together and play. So I don't know whether I played with anybody noteworthy, to be honest, because you'd expect all the press to sort of show up at the same time. I was like, ooh, maybe I could see people I know, famous people who write for noteworthy magazines and stuff. And there were a few Twitch streamers and stuff in there. And there's one name popped up a bunch of times during these play sessions, and I noticed it was Polygonian. I'm like, is this someone from Polygon?
Ooh.
That's why I want to see the Polygon review of Natural Selection 2 Combat now, just so they say, well, it's a pretty good game, but my god, that guy on our team, Meroka, Jesus Christ, he was terrible. I couldn't enjoy the game because it was so bad because he was getting us killed over and over again.
So
I want to see that in a review.
So you want to try and become famous?
I want to be famous for being so bad at it. I'm gonna have a look through Polygon's recent reviews, see if that's their thing. I mean, it may not be. It's entirely plausible that could just be someone else's name. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, it's not. It doesn't sound like it's too creative a name, does it?
No, I'm not seeing any recent reviews of that from them anyway. So it may not be. It may not be the magazine.
And the dream dies.
The dream dies there, indeed. Or they may just be really late at getting the review out. Who knows?
Believe the latter.
Also took a look at, whilst we're on the first-person shooter thing, Fabula Mortis, which was another online first-person shooter, which we, in fact, talked about in the releases last week. I did say that looked kind of interesting, and I would approach them for a review key, and I did, and they got back to me, and I played it.
And how did you find it?
That's really, really, really difficult to say, because all week I haven't been able to find a single person to play against. Not one.
That does seem like a handicap.
Yeah, it kind of is. So, from what I can figure out on the Steam forums, I think there's a bug in the game, and I would describe it as somewhere on the spectrum of between major and game-breaking, if one were to do some QA-style classification on it, which is that if you make a game, your server that you create won't show up in the server listings unless you've done some behind-the-scenes port opening nonsense. Which means that most people who haven't delved into the technical nitty-gritty and just want to play a bloody game aren't actually going to show up in the list as games that you can join and play. Therefore, the overwhelming majority of people trying to play the game are never going to see any games available to join.
That's stupidly detrimental.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not technically game-breaking insofar as it's not like crashing of the game or anything, but it's so major as to be effectively game-breaking.
People are going to lose interest in that so quickly.
I mean, my main thought is, why did the devs not host any servers themselves? Surely if you're doing an online game, the first thing you do is you set up a handful, it depends how, you sort of estimate sort of what kind of volume of traffic you're expecting, and set up a bunch of servers for people to play on.
Yeah.
And therefore, you know, there will always be somewhere for people to play, even if there's only one or two servers, if that's all that's necessary, you know, okay, we've only got 20 people playing, whatever, but here's a couple of servers for those people to play on. As it is, if you go into that game and you look for a game, you are going to find zero. Nothing. Not one. You're going to have to play against bots.
Yeah. That sounds bad.
I mean, the game, it's not anything amazingly incredible. It's fairly average. It's got potential. I mean, I've got a review that it'll be at the time of this video going out on YouTube, or it will have been someday when I did the review. At time of recording, it'll be out in 2 hours. And my main thoughts on it were, it would have made that's a game that would have made a lot of sense to have done early access on, and they, as far as I can make out, they didn't. Early access would have given them time to develop more stuff, more characters, more levels, put a bit of polish onto the game, iron out any kinks and issues. For God's sake, deal with that bloody server issue. and sort of get it into a state where it's got a little bit of a fan base to get a bit of buzz going about it, and a player base established when the game launches so that people can actually jump into a match and get things going, and the game's in a reasonable state. As it is, there are 6 characters you can play as. Of those, one of those is locked when you start the game up, and there's no hint as to how you unlock the 6th character. There are only 4 maps to play on, and there is only one game type, which is just deathmatch. There's not a lot of content there.
You've already put me off, to be honest.
Yeah.
What a mash we sell games.
I critique games fairly, is what I would like to pitch myself as, if I may.
I accept that argument.
And I feel like that's a fair critique of the game. These are all valid points, not in its favour, I'm afraid, and I do think there's potential. I think there's the core of an interesting game in there, but it needs a lot of work, and for God's sake, some marketing effort from the developers. And it's got none of those as of yet.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Let's all take a minute to just despair at the state of affairs for that.
A moment's silence in remembrance of Fabula Mortis.
Okay, let's move on.
Basically.
Let's move on. Let's move on. We can't grieve forever.
Okay.
Next game.
Also got back into Freedom Planet this week because after I finished that the first time around, I kind of burned out a bit on it because I just dragged out playing it for so long, over so many weeks, because I was doing a video series on it, and by the time I was done, I was like, you know what, I cannot be bothered playing any more of this right now, but now I kind of like, you know what, I'll get back into that. I could go for that, so jumping back in with the second character, who is totally different to the first character, and I'm going to play through with that. So that will be more content on my channel in the next couple of weeks, I imagine. I'm going to try and get through the game a bit faster, because when you take a short to medium length game and you drag it out over several months, by the end of it you're just like, I'm really sick of this. You know, this is the sort of thing I could have been done with in 2 or 3 days if I was able to sit down and play this at my own pace, at my own leisure, in my own time. But because I've dedicated myself to doing a thing here, I'm now going to force myself to make it take 2 months. It's like, by the end you're just like, don't want to do this anymore. That's a problem I have.
So how does the new character differ from the first?
The first one plays like Sonic, the second one plays like Knuckles, is the closest comparison. In terms of movesets and things, the first one's kind of got a bit of a spin dashy kind of thing, and can hover to a certain degree, and it's a character more focused on speed, and then the second character is more focused on strength. They've got a bunch of claw attacks, and they can climb walls, which is where the Knuckles comparison comes in. And she also has a motorbike that she can ride at certain circumstances within the story, which is also cool.
That sounds very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third character is effectively Tails.
Nobody likes playing Tails.
Tails ruins everything.
Tails can fly, though.
Yeah, that was all shower breaking. No, Tails. Oh. Nobody wants to be Tails. It's either Sonic or Knuckles.
Tails was bad in Sonic 2, but Tails was not awful once he was his own character in Sonic 3, I will say. Is my stance on Tails.
The president of the Tails fan club.
Well, Tails in Sonic 2 is kind of what most people think of Tails as, because it was the first time you could play as him, and he was just the tag-along character who couldn't really die and couldn't really contribute to anything useful, and you handed over to your younger sibling, usually. You're like, here, you play the character that doesn't actually affect circumstances. You can pretend you're playing.
You're doing so good, well done.
Yeah, basically. So then, yeah, in Sonic 3, it was like, oh, you can play as Tails on his own if you want. Like, okay, that's cool. So we've got a character whose ability is able to fly. And actually, you know, be the main star of the show, if you so desire. So that was cool. I don't object to Tails.
The views of the Bun and Mash podcast host are limited to just him.
But nobody else likes Tails.
Nope.
Not on this podcast, no.
God damn you all. In Sonic Adventure 2, Tails had a giant mech that he could stomp around and shoot things with.
Well, to be To be fair, the Ewoks became badasses when they were given the Tie Walkers. Doesn't mean they were actual badasses.
This is, I guess, a surprisingly apt comparison.
There's not much between Tails and an Ewok now.
Okay.
They both helped ruin the franchise.
Well, not as much as Jar Jar.
Oh no,
This
Jar Jar's
is
his
true.
own separate breed. I can't
Jar
wait-
Jar Jar is more analogous to Amy Rose, I think.
I can't wait for Jar Jar to be the lead star episode 7.
Was that a reference that both of you missed?
With
guess so.
Amy.
Amy, yes.
No, I know Amy.
Amy's only purpose in Sonic was just to be the really annoying one.
Or to get captured.
Yeah, that too.
Ah, yes, yes, I'm with you now.
Yeah, that was the Jar Jar comparison.
He's a screwing you over, Sonic.
Anyway, you were saying, sorry? Someone was saying something, go on.
I can't remember.
Okay, then.
I'm sure it was not important. Or had anything to do with gaming.
Alright. Also played some Metroside this week, or finished up playing some Metroside, which is something I didn't start playing it that long ago, but that game is... It's got some issues. I mean, gameplay-wise it's alright, but technically it crashes so friggin' much. I've played... I tried to record an episode to put up on my channel on Thursday, I guess it was. It took me about 4 attempts to record a video because the game crashed every time. There's 3 levels in the game at present. I don't know if there's any plans to add any more, but certainly there are 3 at present. And I was like, okay, well, I've had a look at the first 2 levels in this game so far. I will take a look at the 3rd level. Nope, that's not going to work. Level 3, when you die, or if you restart the level for any reason, it instantly crashes the game. And if you happen to be recording footage at the time with some software, it also corrupts that footage and makes it completely unusable.
That does seem like a pretty bad design flaw.
It's... Well, given that you were... From anybody else's perspective, given that you were ending the game at that point anyway, by virtue of either getting your ass shot or restarting it anyway, it's not dramatically game-breaking. You could just fire up the game again and play it again. It wouldn't be a huge deal. It would be inconvenient, but it wouldn't be a huge deal. But from the perspective of someone who's genuinely trying to make video content on it, that just straight up makes it impossible. Because short of me winning that level, and I was not about to win that level, I should stress, I'm nowhere near good enough at the game to win that level. Yeah, the only way out of that level for me was in a body bag, which meant the game was going to crash every time. So I couldn't make any footage of that. So I was like, alright, I'm going to go back to level 1, and I'm going to play around with some of the toys. There's a bunch of gadgets and gizmos and interesting things that are in this game that I've never bothered using yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get those and I'm going to start using them. I'm going to try them out. And one of them is C7 Plastic Explosive, which... I planted that, got into some weird fracas that didn't quite work out terribly well, and then ended up somewhere else. And basically, the upshot of it was I never actually ended up detonating that, so it was just this C7 plastic explosive lying around in the city. I got to somewhere else. I went to somewhere else, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna set down another C7 somewhere. I was like, I'd more or less forgotten that I'd set down the first one, to be quite honest. And I was like, okay, there's a guy heading this way. I can put some plastic explosive in his path, get the heck out of Dodge, then as he walks past, blow it up. No, the moment I put down the C7, I guess the same button is plant and detonate. Instead of placing a second one, it blew up the first one. And it turns out that detonating C7 explosive is also a way to crash the game.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's... Oh, for God's sake. At this point, I was trying to work within the framework of what won't crash the game that I can get footage out of at this point. What toys are there within the game that I can use that won't crash it?
So how long did that take you to work out?
Like I say, it was probably my 4th attempt at recording a video, so it was a good few 10-15 minute videos that I just ended up on... I would say the cutting room floor, but the cutting room floor implies they were intact. They just ended up dead footage.
Did you hold funerals for each of them?
Not so much. I deleted them and started recording again.
You heartless man.
Admittedly, I still didn't have anywhere near as much trouble recording that as I did with Necrodancer on Friday for Halloween.
Ooh.
Sweet baby Jesus, that one took me so many attempts. I was screaming obscenities between recordings on that one. It must have taken me like 20 recordings to get what I wanted to happen. So Necrodancer, Crypt of the Necrodancer, has had some Halloween content added to it. Nothing especially major, but one of the things was that if you kill the shopkeeper in the game now, he will come back and haunt you.
Well, you can't really blame the man if you killed him.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough. But he's really, really difficult to kill. And it took me, I was thinking, I started out thinking it would be the same as in older versions. In previous versions, you could kill him reasonably easily by kiting a red dragon into the path of him, so the red dragon attacks him instead of you. Which that works.
Being killed by a dragon, yeah, generally.
Yeah, it works. But they've changed his AI now. If a dragon attacks him, he'll run away. Which also, again, that's fairly reasonable. I can't blame the man.
Yep.
He's just been hit by a dragon. He's probably going to get the heck out of Dodge. But that leads you into some silly wild goose chase around the map, trying to catch up the guy, and quite frankly, trying to get the dragon to hit him whilst he's running around like a madman, running away from both you and the dragon. That just doesn't happen. That's not happening.
How dare that man try to keep himself alive?
Yeah, basically. However,
what did the shopkeeper ever do to deserve this?
Well, yeah, why are you trying to murder this poor
Why
man?
is his singing so offensive?
well, if you kill him, you can steal all his things from the shop for free, and also he drops a crown of greed.
Yeah, for one level.
Also, look, this was Halloween content. I wanted to see... This was for demonstration purposes. I wanted to see what happens when he haunts you. This was the whole point of the video. It's like, look, he can haunt you now. I want to see what happens when he does haunt you. It's nothing personal here. It's just business, you know. I'm sorry, but you have to die today. Sorry, mate.
That poor man. He probably came from a far, far away land, living the necromancer dream to open up a shop and serve it to adventurers. And then he's attacked by a dragon.
Well,
And forced into a lifetime of servitude as a ghost.
I'm sorry, but getting attacked by a dragon is one of the occupational hazards of setting up shop in a catacomb.
That's what the gold fortress is for, to protect against the dragon.
It has a wooden door.
So the architect took the wrong day off.
Also, that dragon has no trouble getting through that golden wall.
Clearly, I've never tried to kill the shopkeeper with the dragon.
Yeah, but the dragon just goes through damn near anything. Have you never been chased by a dragon through anything? And you just end up running and the dragon just goes nom 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 through the walls. The only thing it won't get through is literally that grey wall that's completely indestructible. It just goes through everything.
Alas, if only the shopkeeper had known that.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing, is I couldn't kill him with the dragon, and the dragon didn't work out. That was not a plan that worked out. I spent several attempts trying to kill him with the dragon. It didn't happen. He did not die to the dragon.
So you just beat him to death with a candlestick instead or something?
No, because he moves really, really fast, and it turns out you can actually attack him now, not with a standard weapon, but if you hit him with a bomb, he will react to a bomb. He will aggro and attack you, basically, if you hit him with a bomb, which is new at some point in the recent history. But if you do that, he will turn and attack you back, and he moves really, really fast, and he hits really, really hard.
I like the thought of this podcast one day catching on and you just not being allowed in any shops.
I'm sorry, I only bombed the shop to steal all the things. It wasn't personal. I just needed his crown of greed.
What does the crown of greed do again?
It means that for every beat, or in the case of the bard, step, you lose 1 gold, but I think all gold you collect is multiplied by like 10, is it maybe, or something? I'm not sure. It's used for score runs predominantly if you're trying to get a high score.
Right.
Ultimately, at that point, you've also just killed the shopkeeper, so money is completely worthless. So,
I disapprove so many levels.
So yeah, eventually, after many attempts, and then it took me a bunch of attempts to even practice this as well. I went into seeded hardcore, because seeded hardcore is great for finding specific content, because you go back and do the same level and do it better as well. So that's great for YouTube in my book. There's a seed, which appropriately enough for Halloween was Halloween. So you put a Halloween seed in, you get a shop, you get a level, which on level 1 has a second bomb that you can get to really easily. And it starts with a broadsword very close to where you start. And the shopkeeper, as I say, he moves really fast. Basically, I need a specific layout of the shop as well. Basically, he moves on every beat. He can also move diagonally, and I don't know exactly how much he hits for, but I've never been attacked by him and not been killed by him yet.
Why is he not a boss?
That would be a horrifying boss. I mean, I think the only effective way you could particularly fight him would be with a flail, and maybe a Ring of War would add knockback, so a Ring of War would probably be okay, but a flail would be what you'd want to defend yourself against him particularly well. But yeah, like I say, because of that, if you try and walk side, if you take a right angle turn, if you walk to the side and then down to try and get out of a shop because it's not a straight run out of the shop, basically he will catch up with you because he goes diagonally, and he will stab you and kill you. So the only shop that works for trying to kill him effectively is one where you've got a straight run straight out of the shop. So the Halloween seed, the door is directly above him in the shop. So there's no objects in the way, and you don't have to turn anywhere. So you're pretty safe there. And then because I got 2 bombs, you place 1 bomb next to him, that hits him for 4 hearts. You place another bomb 1 step away from him. Place that there. So after he gets aggroed from the first bomb, he'll chase after you, run into the second bomb, get hit for another 4 hearts. He's got 9 hearts total, by the way. And then because you've got the broadsword, you can kind of hit him round a corner and hit him for that last heart and kill him. And that's the only way I've been able to find to do it.
I feel so sorry for this poor shopkeeper.
That took me a lot of work to figure that one out.
It's up there with the horse being locked in the World of Warcraft that you released into the wild. Now you just run around killing innocent shopkeepers.
Are you listing that up there as my crimes against virtual characters?
I am just saying, there's a list now. It's in development.
Right. Your name will also go on the list.
Classic comedy.
Indeed. So yeah, having done that, eventually he does come back and haunt you. Basically, when you move on to a new floor, he can, at the start of that floor, appear in a ghostly form, and good lord, he screams, and he screams, and he screams, and he won't stop screaming until you hit him again. He moves just as fast. I presume he hits just as hard as well, actually. But 1 hit from any weapon will stop him and make him vanish and presumably go away until a later level. But good lord, yeah, the screaming.
Well, to be honest...
Which is understandable, I did murder him.
Yeah, you deserve it. I don't know.
So there was that. Also dived a little bit, just a couple of matches into Awesome Noughts again. Like every so often, I will pick that up and play that with a friend of mine. And every time I'm like, I want to play a lot more of this because this is a really good game, and then I never do. So I'm like, yeah, I want to play some more Awesome Noughts. I won't, but I really want to.
Yeah.
It's such a good game. I keep trying to play other characters other than Nor, because they keep adding them, and there's lots of really cool stuff, and I really like Penny Fox, who's voiced by Dodger. That's actually kind of a cool character. And I'm not awful with it, I'm just not as good as I am with Nor. With Nor, I'm a complete and utter bastard. It's such a cheap character as well, and it doesn't seem like anybody else ever seems to exploit it quite as much as I do. He's just got lots of really indirect abilities. He's got lots of damage over time. If you bite a character, they'll run away and keep taking damage. If you spit poison at them, they will be slowed down and they'll keep taking damage over time. And then you can just set up mini sentries everywhere to catch people off their guard. It's such a cheap character. I continually get kills from halfway across the map when I'm not even directly fighting people. It's just I'll be running around doing my business, killing NPCs or whatever, and so they'll say, "You killed so-and-so," and I was like, yay! I don't know how, but yay!
Taking credit for things I can't remember.
Well, I set the plans in motion, presumably like 5 minutes ago, but you know, not intentionally by any stretch. But yeah, I end up like with Nor. I mean, I'm not in any high leagues or anything, but with Nor in the lower leagues, anyway, I always end up topping the board by miles and running away with ridiculously high levels compared to everyone else. Which is, again, that snowballing effect is because I'm so much tougher, it's even easier for me to kill people. Same thing that Natural Selection 2 had. So the more they run into my turrets and die, the stronger my turrets get. And etc, etc. So I'm a complete bastard with Nor. But I love it.
Is Nor the bastard, or is it you?
A little of both, I feel.
Look in the mirror, make a judgment.
I embody the spirit of the horrifying alien monster with the really, really catchy, bouncy, upbeat music. It's both, it's horrifying and adorable at the same time. It's such a good character.
Yeah, the power of advertising.
I'm happy to advertise Awesome Notes. Awesome Notes is a fantastic game. I will recommend that to anyone.
Another one that's in my list that I've not tried yet.
Have you not? Oh my god!
I really haven't actually.
You must.
I might try it when we finish up tonight.
All right, cool.
So if the rest of the podcast seems quick, you know why.
You've got to go play some Awesome Notes. Do you actually own it then? Is that
I do,
your list?
yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
It's all installed and ready to go. I just haven't played it.
Cool. Yeah, they just updated it as well recently. Since last time I played, everything's changed. Previously, you had to pick out for each of your characters. Your character has 3 abilities. You've got a basic attack and 2 special abilities, and each of those you get to pick a bunch of custom perks. So it's like, here's a list of what's available to you. Which of these would you like to have available at your disposal to upgrade? So you pick out things that you would like to be able to have, and then they are your upgrade path throughout the course of things. Things that you can buy to make your character better. Now I think they've just unlocked everything. It's just like, oh, your character has access to all the things that you've unlocked through the progression system. It's like you've got tons and tons and tons of upgrades. I'm like, first time I saw it, it was just like, there's like 6 upgrades for each thing. I'm like, what do I pick? I don't know. All the thing. There are too many things. What the things? There is one. There is in fact one as well, which just gives you bonus money right at the start. Which used to be, basically, the trade-off was if you took the bonus money, basically, you therefore didn't have that upgrade slot to put something more useful in earlier. So there's that trade-off. It's like, okay, you can have extra money, but you can't have, like, the extra health slot or something, or extra movement speed. You were doing a bit of a trade-off. Now, because it's just all the things, it just seems like the money is just pretty much a freebie at the start. It's just like, here's 170 gold for you to spend right at the start of the game. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. I guess everybody else gets it as well, but it just seems like cheap at this point. It's like, why do you not do away with that ability and just give everybody 170 gold more?
Well, at least it's a level playing field.
Yeah. It's just a bit odd, but there you go. So yeah, I think it's probably a little... Probably a little bit more complex than it used to be. I mean, what really appealed to me about Awesome Notes in the past was it was so simple. It's such a simple game. It's got all the complexity and intrigue and strategy of MOBA games, but the fact that each character has 2 special abilities and a standard attack, and then only 3 upgrades for each of those abilities, it's like, it keeps it really simple, or it kept it really simple. Now, maybe a little bit less so, but, hey-oh. So, anything else anyone else has been delving into?
I will say, just briefly, that we talked about Border Remembrance on Kickstarter about 2 weeks ago, and because it looked like Hyper Light Drifter, I did fund it, and it's only got 3 days left as we're recording this.
I don't think I've backed it. I probably should throw some money at that.
It's not going to make its goal, I don't think.
Is it not?
No, they're only asking for 3,000, and it's about 2,000 short of what they need. So it's not looking good. But they did release a demo last week, so I've been on the demo a little bit, and it does look exactly like Hyper Light Drifter, and it plays very, very similar. But this doesn't displease me at all.
Oh, ouch, yeah, £801 raised of 3,000.
I know, it's...
Dang.
But
that's not even much money in the grand scheme of things.
It isn't. It kind of feels like, reading the updates, it kind of feels like they're just going to make it anyway. Like, it's already been made, but this is just to cover sort of living costs and stuff like that.
I think a lot of little indie projects are like that. It's like... there's plenty of them are just sort of, oh yeah, we're working a job on the side, this is the money so that we can stop working our job on the side for 2 months just to finish the bloody thing. So there's a one I funded. I have no idea what happened with that. I should probably look it up on Kickstarter. I funded a game called Telepath Tactics because I worked with the guy at the Indie Mega booth a couple of years back.
Oh, yeah.
I liked the guy, so I was like, he's got a Kickstarter going on. I'll fund his Kickstarter. Nice enough guy, which was Telepath Tactics, and I know he was working on the side, and he basically I think he got his boss to say, look, yeah, you can take 5-6 months off work and come back afterwards. You need to take time off to go do your project, and he raised the Kickstarter money so that he could cover living costs in the meantime, and then I guess to the best of my knowledge went back to his job. So that was a little while back. Yeah. Pretty cool boss that actually would let him do that as well.
Definitely.
I don't think many would do that.
No. But
so I don't know. I think he's still going at it, to be honest. Like I follow him on Twitter. I occasionally get these updates. He wanted 15,000, raised 40,000, in fact. So.
Well, even better.
That was funded. It wasn't as. Actually, no, that is a fair while ago. That was April 2013. That would have been.
Yeah.
I may have had a technical issue.
Okay, fair enough. To be honest, I didn't actually pick up on it, so no biggie. No harm, no foul.
Yay! Professionalism.
Yep.
Cool. So even though Board of Remembrance might not come to fruition on Kickstarter, I'm hoping that they'll release it anyway, that it will still be a thing to buy.
Yes, I would hope so. It seems like something there is. Like I say, just because it did look so pretty, it did get a little bit of press buzz. So it seems like there's probably some interest in it. Just shame no one put their money where their mouth is. I mean, I say that, but that includes me at this point in time. So
although their highest tier is only £30.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What'd you get for that?
You get the game, the art book, alpha, and I think your name in the credits.
Things, yeah.
Yeah, standard stuff. But okay. I think they could have pushed it a little bit more. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of the higher tiers of things, they're just novelty for people who got a fairly reasonably well-paying job and they got lots of spare money to throw at things that they're passionate about. See folks like Notch,
And definitely.
Like, look, I'm a millionaire. I've got spare money to lie around to make things happen that look really cool. Here's 10 grand. Why not? And all you need to do is wine and dine the man.
Well, I'm more disappointed now that it's not coming on Kickstarter, or at least I presume it's not going to. I'm not going to get my art book, and I like my art books.
Well, was it just a digital one? Was it an actual physical one?
A digital one.
All right. I imagine you could talk to the developers about that, for crying out loud.
I'd hope so.
Email them and say, look, I backed you. I would really like an art book. I really had my heart set on an art book. Can we make something happen here?
I enjoy pixel art way too much.
Right. Fair enough. I mean, it is a very pretty looking game.
It is, yeah.
I will throw some money at it, and maybe more of a token gesture at this point in time, I suppose, but I will do afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. In other Kickstarters, my Kickstarter got funded on Friday. Not my Kickstarter, but the one I've been banging on about for the last couple of weeks.
Which Kickstarter?
The Kickstarter for the Dragon Eye Tavern board game, which will have my character in it now because I've pledged 99 New Zealand dollars, which in actual real money ain't all that much.
No, and have you been in talks with the?
No, I mean, what the update I got, which was like probably about Saturday morning, I guess I saw the email. He was like, "Okay, I've just spent an entire week packaging it and mailing out coins, and my Kickstarter's just finished. I am so stressed out and tired. I'm just going to go sleep for a while. I hope that's all right with you guys. Bye." It was like, yeah, okay, fair enough, can't blame you. But at some point this week, I imagine I should expect an email from him or something to say, hey, I need your character design from you.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know how that's going to work. I have no idea what the logistics of that is. I hope they're not actually hoping I have to draw it or anything myself. Because I can't draw.
Just give it to Will. Will's quite the artist.
Well, I imagine for consistency, they'll probably have an artist work with you.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was imagining, but you never know. I don't know.
It would be slightly funnier if you had to draw it yourself.
Oh God, I can't even imagine. I mean, I've got my character artwork that I commissioned to Moki back at the start of the year to do for my YouTube channel, which I still really love that artwork, by the way. So
it's gorgeous. I'd be tempted to have one of my own, but I don't play Spiral Knights enough to really justify it.
Fair enough. I mean, if push came to shove and he was like, "Look, I literally need you to provide your own artwork for this," it would have to be that character, because it's like I ain't got anything else I can do, to be honest. I ain't gonna draw anything of my own, and that artwork is already fantastic. So that would be my character artwork, I guess.
Yeah.
There's that. I wonder if what about the artist from Border Remembrance? I wonder if we could commission them.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
That would be quite cool, I think.
Yeah.
Although that would be kind of weird having all these. Obviously, it's Taiwanese guys, so it's all Eastern manga style characters, and then having just some pixel art character on one of the cards.
Well, it looks kind of pixel manga, if that's a thing.
Pixel manga.
Now a thing. Now.
Okay, fair enough. Well, yeah. Fine. Yeah, it's just the fact that the top tier of that Kickstarter was so low price compared to almost anything else that would offer a similar kind of thing. You know, normally if someone says, "Oh, you can have your character in the game," normally they're asking hundreds of pounds, if not thousands of pounds, for something like that. And this guy's, yeah, it's 48 quid was what it worked out at. I was like, okay, yeah, go on, I'll bite.
Yeah, I'd be exactly the same position.
So, yeah, but it's just the fact that it's so low, it's like, does the budget stretch to you also being able to pay for an artist to draw my character now? Because that's not a lot of extra money I paid over the cost of the game for this. I don't know. I suppose we'll find out. I will get back to you on that next week, I suppose.
No, with any luck, yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully, yeah. Unless he takes the money and does a runner.
Hey, he's got to pay that San Francisco rent. Leave him alone.
That's what it is.
Did you actually get your coins? Or
they have, like I say, that's what he's been doing this week. He spent the entire week mailing them out, and judging by his estimates, I've pegged the delivery date on that one as between the 13th and the 28th.
It's quite a long delivery period.
Although
I'm used to Amazon Prime.
Yeah, well, Amazon Prime's usually coming from within the country, not from Taiwan.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
And he also, apparently, shipping costs for him were $4,500 to get all that out.
Wow.
Posted that figure. He's like, yeah, it cost me about $4,500 just to ship everything out.
That's insane.
That is insane. But when you think about it, all he's just sending out big packages of basically just metal. So they're all coins. They're all just machined aluminium. He's just sending out big bags of aluminium all over the world.
Well, aluminium's very light.
Relatively light. It's still metal. There were some wooden boxes as well in there. They're probably fairly heavy. Because yeah, he did post some pictures of the day they came through customs as well, and there's these huge boxes, and the guy at customs had to ring him up and was like, "Are these yours?" "Yeah, there's some really heavy packages here for you." It's just when you actually look at the cost of things, it seems like, I mean, I realise the cost of doing business over there is really cheap. I suppose if you want to do game development, I suppose move to China, I suppose, rather than Bradford, but
We found somewhere cheaper than Bradford.
maybe, potentially. But yeah, when you think, even with the cost of doing business, it just seems like he's doing it for way less than you'd expect that kind of thing to be done for. Like I say, I mean, that Kickstarter raised 16 grand. If you take away Kickstarter's costs and then the amount he's just had to post out, that's like 10 grand to get a factory to manufacture 22,000 coins, all with custom tooling. It doesn't seem like there'd be much room for error. And then all the boxes and packaging and coin purses and things that he's done with them as well. It seems like, you know what, for 10,000 New Zealand dollars, it doesn't seem like you'd be able to do that. So, I don't know, if he's managed it, congratulations, but it seems like you'd be cutting it pretty fine, even if it was successful.
Definitely not much profit margins in that, but
No.
then again, to have your project realized, I think sometimes it's just worth it not to take a profit.
Maybe. I mean, I know his plan is down the line to potentially set up an online store selling the coins as well at some point, I think is the plan. And I guess if he's working with the same factory and the factory's still got the tooling to make the coins, it would be far cheaper in the future to make any future coins because the factory's already done them once. So it'll just be like, okay, set the machines up to do these again, run off another few thousand. From a manufacturing standpoint, doing the same project again in the future would be a lot cheaper.
Absolutely.
Well, there you go. That's Kickstarter news. That should be a thing.
Yeah, there should be like a separate section in the show, I feel.
I'm working on the jingle as we speak.
Right. Well, I don't know where this has come from for me. I mean, I've never really been big into Kickstarter, and then last few months I've just been like, ooh, Kickstarter. And it's like, of all the times in my life to pick to do that, while I'm unemployed, really, you couldn't have picked a better time.
Yeah, it's poor judgments.
But the problem with Kickstarter is there's so many of these projects you look at them and you're like, ooh, I have to have that. Oh, and the only way I can get it is if I pay money now within the next 20 days. Oh, well, I better get it. If I wait until I have a job, I can't have it.
I guess you're lucky so many of these projects are going down the pan then.
Yeah, I suppose. That's one way to look at it, yeah.
A slightly cynical way to look at it.
It is. Indeed. Are we running out of gaming experiences for the week? I feel like we may be.
That's it, I reckon.
I think we're done.
Okay, cool. Well, we shall take a short break, I suppose, and then when we come back, we shall bring you some gaming news and gaming releases for the week.
And now a word from our sponsors. We want Button Mash Podcast is back.
No need to redeem yourself this week, then.
Well, I did the entire Pokerap. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, fair play to the man.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had anything up your sleeve to just one up yourself, basically.
Well, I could have done a segue into a segue.
Could have done a segue into a segue into a second generation Pokerap, into a segue into the third generation Pokerap, into a segue into the podcast.
It would have been Segception.
It would have been segtastic.
That sounds painful.
Welcome back.
It would be segsational. Yeah.
Whoa!
Welcome back, indeed. Welcome back to the Button Mash Podcast. We are going to do some gaming news for you.
And now, gaming news and gossip.
Don't think there's any gossip this week, actually. I think it is just genuinely gaming news this time.
I know, but most podcasts, when they do it, tie it together as news and gossip, so I'm just
Do they
trying
actually?
something.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think for the most part.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. You're the boss.
Knowledge.
Okay, well, we have... because we love talking about this game, in spite of the fact that nobody plays it, World of Warcraft! World of Warcraft is a thing. World of Warcraft...
Is it really?
Yeah, World of Warcraft is planning to still be a thing in 2024 as well.
Alright, I like the fact of forward planning.
Yeah,
I don't doubt it, to be honest.
It's on the downswing,
it's still a
though.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, this is the 10th anniversary this year, so they're like, oh, we think there's another 10 years still in it, is what Blizzard are saying. Maybe, I guess. I mean, I guess it's probably a sort of is the exponential, I suppose, trail off. I guess it would sort of drop off fairly quickly once it loses appeal, but then there'll be a lot of people, it'll have a long tail on it. I think there'll be a lot of people who will hang around for years to come, I imagine. It would still... I've said before, just because World of Warcraft is so ridiculously big compared to other MMOs, it doesn't matter if they lose the majority of their player base, it's still going to be profitable. Because they started from a standpoint of 12 million, they can lose 11 million players and still probably be profitable. You've got 1 million people paying $9 a month, that's $9 million a month you're making. That's probably pretty profitable. I would imagine you'd have to have a really big studio in San Francisco to not be profitable at that rate.
No, you've got at least 5 in San Francisco.
You'd basically have to be Tim Schafer to not be profitable at that rate.
Yeah.
Sorry, we did go into gossip.
Aren't you so glad that I added that in now?
I am indeed, yes.
I think I deserve an apology.
I apologise. We're totally going to gossip about Tim Schafer. That's what we do. Welcome to the Tim Schafer podcast.
No, I heard from the grapevine.
Tim Schafer's planning something.
Indeed.
Probably is. The guy always is planning something. Probably begging for money on the internet, if we're honest. I am so harsh on that man, and he's made so many fantastic things. This is the man who made Monkey Island, and I'm ragging on him every week.
Ooh. The views of the Buddy Mash podcast hoster.
Indeed. I don't know. I'm a bit sour about amounts of ridiculous amounts of. I mean, it's not like it's my money, but the ridiculous amount of other people's money he's wasted in recent years. Just kind of, it's like, I don't think I'd trust him with my money. I know I haven't given him any of my money recently, but I wouldn't trust him with it anymore.
So if he came up to you on the street and said, "John, will you lend me £5?" You wouldn't do it.
No, because he'd probably spend it on.
Careful.
I don't know where I was going with that. Actually, I had nothing. I don't. I got nothing.
You had something that was probably going to get us into a slight bit of trouble.
He would probably spend it on a frivolous game engine.
Ooh, good save.
I don't know. Unnecessary art assets.
The scandal.
Hiring Elijah Wood.
Because Elijah Wood comes cheap these days.
I imagine
He'll do anything.
I imagine it would be a contribution towards saving Elijah Wood. It's like when someone stands on the street with a clipboard and it's like, hey, do you want to save the whales? You're not specifically paying to save any specific whale, but you're contributing. It's like it'd be Tim Schafer with a clipboard. It's like, would you like just £3 a month and you could save the career of Elijah Wood. That's all we're asking, just £3 a month. That's all we need. You could save Elijah Wood's career.
Really went downhill after Lord of the Rings. He peaked there.
Oh, he was in The Hobbit for 5 minutes.
And he was in Broken Age. What more could you want? Anyway.
Welcome to the Elijah Wood podcast.
Indeed. Welcome to the mocking celebrities who will be infinitely more successful than all of us combined podcast. It's the only thing that helps us sleep at night.
I think Elijah Wood's Lord of the Rings money probably is just about keeping him afloat somehow.
It might be. Anyway, if we're finished ragging on celebrities that are infinitely richer than us. World of Warcraft, yeah, that's obviously numbers are back up a bit in light of the new expansion, which is due out in any moment now. A week on Thursday, in fact, is the new World of Warcraft, the 5th expansion.
So we probably won't be mentioning that in game releases, as we just did.
Maybe. I tell you what, I've been invited back by Blizzard. They've done their thing again.
Oh, what have they offered you now?
They've offered me a free week.
That's not a free horse. You shouldn't take that.
Well, if I take the free week, I could log in and get the horse.
Do it then. Liberate that horse, damn it.
I'd have to download it. I don't think I've got that much hard drive space left.
I'm not sure if I'd be okay with you having half a horse.
Half a horse? It wouldn't be a horse, it would just be a temporary horse. I don't know. So yeah, they're just like, oh, come back, you can have 1 week of World of Warcraft, and I think the way they've done it now is if you own the game, you own everything up to Mists of Pandaria, so presumably at some point I have been given Mists of Pandaria for free and Cataclysm, so I guess my account, technically speaking, is up to date, and I could go and experience all the things. So, and that expires on the 5th, and gives me 1 week, which coincidentally expires the day before Warlords of Draenor.
You'd think they planned it like that.
I know, right?
I'm starting to be suspicious about World of Warcraft's intentions here.
Anyone would think they had a business strategy behind it all.
No. Nobody has business strategies anymore.
What is this business strategy that you speak of?
It's,
Is that a thing?
It involves rolling around in piles of money and swimming through it Scrooge McDuck style.
I thought we were doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm happy to give it a go, but I don't think we've got enough. It's not going to fill. We might get like a coffee cup full of loose change, and I don't think I can swim through that very effectively. But yeah.
No, we could splash it aggressively in your face.
I would appreciate it if you didn't. I think. Just change in the face. Oh, God.
Scrooge McDuck was a legend, really, wasn't he?
For his money swimming capabilities, he is a god amongst men.
Very few amongst ducks.
Oh, indeed, ducks. Ducks and men, why not? Of ducks and men. So, yeah. I don't think many people have been able to replicate the feat that Scrooge McDuck did once upon a time.
Well, I think that it was a scientific question asked that if you dived into a big pile of golden coins, it might have a physically adverse effect.
Do you really need to study for that one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some scientists looked into it.
Okay.
I think there was a program about it. I think they tried to squeeze spinach out of a can too.
Was it Mythbusters?
Don't think so. I think it was something a bit more low budget.
Low budget Mythbusters. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, I mean, if you've ever played World of Warcraft, chances are you also got offered a free week recently. I would advise don't take it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
We don't work for World of Warcraft.
I don't work for World of Warcraft. I also don't want to see people addicted to harmful substances.
What?
Well, it is, basically. It's basically crack, is what it is. If we're honest.
The views of the podcast host
are reflected by most of the gaming community in this particular instance.
Is it really that addictive? I've never tried it.
Yeah, it is. Just ask anybody who has played it, for God's sake. Yeah, how do you think it got to 12 million? You don't get to 12 million concurrent subscribers paying $9 a month without being effectively crack. That's what it is. I don't know why it's so successful. I mean, I think for a lot of people would say, as I said before, I think a lot of people, perhaps it was more the community than anything else. It didn't do anything really exceptional. It made MMOs a lot more accessible than what had come previously, I think. I think that was what it did well. And compared to stuff that's followed, it's just very mediocre, but when you consider that stuff previous to it was just super hardcore stuff, only for no-lifers, basically. People, anything anybody ever tells me about any MMO that ever preceded World of Warcraft, it doesn't sound appealing. Stuff like RuneScape came before it, didn't it? Certainly, I think. And yeah, I was going to say, yeah, there was I read coincidentally last night on Reddit, there was a thread where someone was like doing the maths behind one of the trade skills in RuneScape, and it was like, yeah, it would take you 25, I think it was, not 25, no, 10 solid days, i.e. full 24-hour days straight, 10 solid days of your life to level your agility skill from 0 to 99, which was the cap. And the way you did that effectively was pretty much by running in circles around a circuit for 24 hours a day for 10 days straight. I was like, how is that gameplay? Why did people do that? People did that. That's the thing. And it's like, why did people do that? What's the appeal in that one? It's like, at least World of Warcraft, it was kind of fun. I mean, there was a lot of grind in there, but at least it was kind of fun what you were doing. It had a little more than, it was more than running in a circle for 10 days straight. I don't get older MMOs, I'll be honest. None of them ever sounded like an interesting thing.
Well, World of Warcraft is still going strong.
Well, yeah, because it did a lot of things right, and it's got still people who are still interested in doing what they did right. Me, I like WildStar. That's my new crack. That's more like I don't know. I don't know drugs well enough to make some appropriate analogy to crack. So
World of Warcraft is like heroin.
It's a bit Moorish.
WildStar is a nice little bit of cocaine.
Yeah, basically.
Have I helped you out there?
Something that's probably fairly reasonable. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Moving swiftly on.
But it's basically crack in space. Space crack.
You'll have to explain that one. You'll have to explain that one.
So, World of Warcraft is always fantasy in Wild Stars sci-fi. It's all spaceships and shit. So it's crack in space.
Okay, I'll accept that explanation.
Space crack. Sprack.
60 times
Less
more.
appealing now.
Yeah.
Do you not want a lovely bit of sprack?
No, you had me at Space Crack. Sprack, no.
Okay.
Sprack kind of sounds like it's imitation spam.
It can be both. It's imitation spam laced with crack in space. Anyway, so yes, Blizzard would like, to go back to the actual point of the whole bloody thing, Blizzard would like World of Warcraft to still be a thing and be around in 2024. Which it possibly comes on hot on the heels of their other MMO kind of flopping. But, you know. It was like, shit, the other one's not going to work out. Guys, we need to really push the old one. Might be an element of that there.
Probably isn't the worst idea in the world.
But I don't think they're doing pretty well with all their free-to-play stuff at the minute. The Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone and whatnot.
I don't think they're going to go under anytime soon, so...
Nah, I think they're probably doing just okay. They're probably not based in San Francisco. Just saying.
Those extravagant riches.
I think aren't Blizzard headquartered in France, actually, I think.
Oh, France!
I'm not rightly sure, but I may be wrong. I think they have an office in France that might not be headquartered there.
So they're just there eating croissants and...
making video games.
Living the dream.
That's all man could ask for.
What, to eat croissants and make video games?
Yep.
That does sound like a pretty sweet life.
That's okay. And pain au chocolat.
Oh, pain au chocolat.
Indeed. Pain au chocolat and making video games.
No, that's one step too far.
That's just gratuitous.
That's too much luxury. That's Scrooge McDuck luxury.
Well, I think Blizzard can manage that one.
I think that's a hell of a film, Scrooge McDuck. It just comes out of retirement and opens up a video game franchise.
And eats pain au chocolat.
Yeah. Disney, get on it.
I think that's one of the DVD extras. The B-sides. Yeah, indeed. In other news, we have Twitch is cracking down on sexually suggestive clothing. Which I love as a headline, to be honest.
What exactly do they classify as sexually suggestive clothing? What's the limit?
The list of banned items includes lingerie, swimsuits, pasties, or undergarments, as well as any full nude torsos. Nerds are sexy, the new Twitch terms of service explains, and you're all magnificent, beautiful creatures. Let's try and keep this about the game, shall we? You may have a great six-pack, but that's better shared on the beach during a 2-on-2 volleyball game playing with the boys.
I'm sorry, I think I might have gone a bit deaf for a brief second there. Did you say pasties?
Yeah, am I the only one that doesn't know what a pasty is?
Okay.
I thought it was like Greg's had been banned.
No, I wish I wasn't the only one who knew this at this point, but you know those.
I know, I've just
explain
looked
it
it up in the Urban Dictionary.
Go on, explain it to the idiots.
It's kind of a thing that you stick onto the nipples for the ladies, so that it technically covers you up, and you're technically decent whilst being pretty much topless, basically.
Ah, okay.
I wasn't particularly aware things had gone quite that far on Twitch. I mean, this is interesting to me because there's always been accusations around that women doing YouTube and Twitch, they only get viewers because they're women. They have an unfair advantage over men. Like all they have to do is show some tits and they'll get viewers. And it's like, actually, to be fair, you can't deny that there are some out there that do that. I know quite a lot who do it very reasonably. They do it, so they just approach it the same way guys do. It's like, hey, I want to make some entertaining content, just like everybody else on YouTube does. And then there's other ones that are like, hey, sex sells, here's my tits. And some video games in a small window in the corner, just so that I can technically be allowed on Twitch. And then, here, pay money for me. Here, see guys, tits. Do you want to pay some money for tits? And at that point, it's basically one of those cam websites. I'm guessing what Twitch is trying to do is basically say, I don't want to be... I'm not a frequenter of those sites, but you get those adverts sometimes like, hey, watch live nude women, and it's like, and men throw money at live nude women. And I think that's kind of the direction some of those channels, it seems like, may have been taking.
So Twitch is trying to take on the porn industry.
Oh, well, no, Twitch is trying to kill the channels that were taking their website down the direction of the porn industry.
Which
is a reasonable stance to take.
Yeah, you should be going for the games, not the topless women, really.
Presumably, but I'm guessing there must have been a sufficient quantity of near topless women playing on Twitch for this to have become an issue.
Well, as you know from the fallout of Gamergate, all men are misogynists.
Well, obviously, yes. This has been well established at this stage. It's just, I really like this because it's kind of almost confirmation, because, as I say, with that, women only have to show their tits to get successful on YouTube kind of thing. That's been thrown around so many times, and you get so many people like, oh, that's not true, women are just as competent and capable of doing high-quality entertainment as men. And, again, it probably does tie into your whole Gamergate and gender conflict and whatnot. At the same time, it's Twitch is saying, yeah, actually, women are literally sat there in their underwear just so that men will watch them, and we're not going to allow that anymore. So, I don't know. It's kind of some sort of confirmation of something that has always somewhat irked me. So, I like the headline. I like that Twitch are making a stance that all content should be high quality content and not just about the tits.
Oh, fair play to them.
Yeah, you can't really argue.
There are other places you can go if you want to look at tits.
There are.
It's not like that's. It's not like all the tits are contained within Twitch.
There are better exposed tits than on Twitch.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure nudity was banned on Twitch before, because here, obviously, they have to wear swimsuits, undergarments, pasties, whatever. So.
Do we have to call them pasties?
That is what they're called. That is what they're called. I know you're thinking a bit of pastry with some meat and potato in it, but...
I'm just thinking like a Greg's sausage roll just across the front.
Really? Can we not... Didn't they used to be called tassels? Was that not a thing?
Well, that's if it's got a dangly bit. It could just be it's just basically like a sticker in many cases, and tassel implies it's got something dangling.
Okay.
Aren't those plasters?
They are probably very similar, yes. You could probably use plasters in a similar fashion to pasties, I would imagine, if you were really cheap and on a budget.
So Twitch is, in its terms and conditions page, you just go to Twitch, it goes, put some pants on.
Yes. Well, there's also they did a fantastic segue at the bottom as well. It's like, we sell t-shirts, those are always acceptable.
Ooh, well done. You're rivaling Michael's segues there.
I know.
I might get a job at Twitch this way. It's that easy.
So maybe it's hot and you want to take your clothes off. Maybe you like doing that even when it's cold. If you feel such an urge coming on, then you should simply crop the webcam to your face, Twitch concludes. So...
Twitch, feeling too warm? Well, open a window.
There's that. I mean... Well, I mean, I'm too warm here, and fortunately there's no webcams pointing at me for you to see my gorgeous topless body. But when I'm too warm, it's like, look, I'm next to a window, I could open a window and turn the fan on, but I don't want that on my microphone, because, audio quality is important. Although I imagine the kind of channels that are typically taking their clothes off probably aren't doing it about the quality of their entertainment, I suspect. One might argue that there's a different focus on the channel.
How has this generally been received within the gaming community?
I don't know. This is the first I've heard of it. I only saw the article today, and oh wow! Just by the favorite comments on here, I just spotted on the article is the Cornish will be up in arms.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I think there's a lot of people had a little bit of an issue with that term, I guess.
I want to see somebody just make like a suit out of Cornish pasties now and just broadcasting it and see.
I'm pretty sure Lady Gaga's already done that, has she not?
Probably.
She must have done.
It surprises me that I've never heard this term before.
Yeah.
You clearly have not watched enough porn.
Or Twitch, apparently.
Or Twitch, apparently.
Maybe this is just exclusive to Twitch porn.
It's a Twitch porn term, yes. So yeah, that's. I mean, I don't. Maybe they're just trying to be all inclusive and gender inclusive and whatnot. Like talking about doing topless men as well. It's like I don't know how many channels had topless men on Twitch. If I'm honest,
I imagine their views would probably go down.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I suspect the kind of people who do Twitch are probably not the kind of people you want to see topless.
Exactly.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
You're welcome to go do some research. Go for it.
The sad thing is, I think I'd come back with a fairly comprehensive list.
Well, at this point, you probably won't be able to find any because it's been banned. So, or well, I don't know. There may be some people flaunting the rules regardless. You can go find some rule-breaking topless people.
Find the rebels of Twitch.
I'm sure cleavage will still be aplenty.
They may well be, indeed. So, other news, Humble Indie Bundle 13 is out now. Like, not major real news, but I don't know. It seemed like a good thing to talk about there.
We thought you should know.
They are fairly cool bundles, especially the major bundles, obviously. It's like, if it's a Humble Indie Bundle insert number here, they're usually the major ones that are worth looking at. I know they do bundles all the goddamn time, but the big ones are usually the really cool ones. This one indeed is. It's got Tower of Guns, which is awesome. It's got Jazz Punk in it, which is awesome. It's got 4 copies of Risk of Rain, which is awesome. It's got Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet, which you can find a review of by none other than Will on the Button Mash website.
Well remembered.
Is that still there?
I don't know. I don't know whether it survived the transition to the new format or not, to be honest.
I'm curious now. I'm going to check.
And which website are you going to check that out at, Will?
Is that button-mash.net? Is it?
Yeah.
I see it. Yeah, that's the one.
Close enough.
Also comes with,
Subway.
yeah. Also comes with Amnesia Machine for Pigs, which I think was not as well received as the original Amnesia, but nonetheless I think pretty decent. Ollie Ollie, which is the only one in the bundle I've never actually even heard of, to be honest. And Shadowrun Returns, which is based on the old classic late 90s, late 80s, early 90s game. I'm not sure when it was. Sort of a remake of the Shadowrun from way back when. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Tower of Guns, Jazz Punk, and Risk of Rain, if nothing else. And they will, as they tend to do, probably stuff some more stuff in the near future. And then they've got some crazy tiers, like pay $65 or more and you get a ridiculous pile of other stuff. Which I'm probably not going to delve into, I'm not that well off. Well, it's got collectible cards based on Risk of Rain and stuff, and it's like, oh my god, I really want that now. God damn it, I shouldn't have looked at that.
Oh, Jonathan. Wow.
It's got a hoodie as well, so $65 US gets you a bunch of Humble Indie Bundle 13 cool stuffs from Fangamer.
So, if you're into that, have a look.
And just to confirm, you can still find all the reviews on the website.
Nice. So if you wish to see a review of Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet because you're wondering what it's about, we have a review there. I don't remember what it was about, to be honest, but I remember you did a review. I'll have to go read the review, I suppose.
You will.
And last notable news of the week that we picked out is Nintendo have got a new creepy thing that's going to watch you while you sleep.
I don't like the sound of this.
I don't think anybody does.
I may be phrasing that badly. I may not be selling it as well as Nintendo's PR department.
Just imagine some poor bastard in front of a conference room going, and this will watch you while you sleep. Guys?
It's a really cool idea, guys. Come on. Do you not want to be watched while you sleep?
Look, you just be sleeping and it'll just be watching you but making judgments.
So this is Nintendo's quality of life technology non-contact sensing doodad that apparently you put on a bedside table and it will keep track of. It keeps track of apparently breathing and heartbeat and body movements, and then sends them to the cloud, will analyze them, and then when you wake up in the morning, it'll tell you what you're doing wrong in your sleep. well, no, it's going to. It can presumably from that analyze issues in your life like diet and exercise and things, and say, oh, you should probably go for a run and eat more greens.
You fat lazy bastard.
Yeah.
You just wake up and goes, "You're going to die soon."
So it's mainly a health thing. It's kind of weird that such a thing would be coming from Nintendo, but Nintendo always do weird stuff. It's not really a gaming thing outside of the fact that it comes from Nintendo, I suppose.
Nintendo isn't a gaming thing anymore. I don't believe it is.
Right, fair enough. Okay, but they did visualize it on the got diagrams that involved Mii's and stuff. And it's like, really, guys, you had to shoehorn them in somewhere, really? Mii's, come on. I know you like them, but nobody else does. I presume I don't like them. They're weird and creepy. And can we just have Mario back? Mario's okay.
I've now got the image of Mario watching me sleep.
I'm pretty sure that'll be an option.
Is there sleeping Mario? Ah, yes, you'll sleep at the good. That may have been slightly racist, I apologize.
It's just an impression of Mario. There's nothing wrong with that.
Who in his own respect was slightly racist.
Uh-huh. So, not really sure. Well, there's not really many details on this, I suppose. Probably more will be revealed in the future. There's a non-contact sleep sensor that will potentially improve your life. So that's the thing.
I suppose it's good for all those people that have invested in the Wii Fit and everything like that. I suppose that's just one of those extra accessories that you could buy if you weren't really creeped out by it.
Yeah, I think my issue with it is, like I say, my initial description of it was it's a thing that watches you while you sleep. And let's be honest, this is the kind of technology that we are generally quite happy to lambaste other companies for attempting to do anything similar. When Microsoft turns around and says, oh yes, we've got this sensor that sits on top of your TV, but you're not allowed to turn it off. Everyone's like, no, we don't want that, get rid of it, remove it, or we will never buy your things. Forced to turn around. And Nintendo are now explicitly marketing a thing that's like, yeah, this is going to sit by your bed and monitor your heart rate and your breathing while you sleep. I was like, no? How about that? So, I don't know. I'm like I say, from a health perspective, you genuinely wanted to improve your life potentially, but
or if you wanted to be really paranoid about how your general health was going after a couple of nights of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's also I think the issue with the Kinect always watching you and stuff. Many of the issues are like privacy concerns and whatnot, and a lot of companies are very interested in personal data that's been monitored. People put monitors in their home and watches them, and it's like, oh, can we buy their details so we can advertise to them more effectively? So, I don't know, it seems like somewhere down the line there's potential for someone to say, hey, can we have all these people's health data so we can advertise appropriate health products to them? Like, so you wake up in the morning and your sensor says, hey, you're looking a bit chubby, do you want to go for a run today?
Maybe you want to put down that Mars bar.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, and then it's like, why don't you buy a treadmill from Treadmill Corp? I don't know. That's a really extreme length, but you can see the direction I'm heading with that. It's just like,
having
it seems
chest
like
pains. Visit Dr. Nick Riviera.
Indeed. So, yeah. Hi, Dr. Nick.
Hi, everybody.
I'm surprised it wasn't Zoidberg, to be honest. I'm surprised we didn't jump there straight away.
Zoidberg couldn't have afforded to send out the email. Keeping it real.
Zoidberg wouldn't have such a tacky marketing campaign. He would just live in a dumpster and eat boxes.
But he would watch you while you sleep.
That is possible. But that would more be in person, I suspect. Anyway, yeah, we've kind of burned through them fairly quickly, but that is our news for the week. Shall we do some gaming releases?
For the MASH podcast, new game releases.
I have not planned essentially well enough for this because I need to scroll down the page to find the right bit.
To be fair, I think that's all of us.
Everybody hastily scrolling down, yes. November 2nd, week of November 2nd. Tomorrow and the day after we have Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. There is... Oh, I saw this on the front page. I saw this on Steam, actually. Yeah, they're charged... If you pay an extra £5, you can have it a day before everyone else.
Ooh. I don't like that.
No, I don't like that.
Especially when Alien Isolation just did it for free.
Really?
Yeah, brought it out a day early. I was very pleased.
Well, Call of Duty, if you pay whatever their asking price is, I forget what it was offhand, probably £45, I suspect. You pay £45, I think it was. You can have it on Tuesday. If you pay £50, you can have it on the Monday, I think. So that's the thing. That is on your Bone. That is on your PS4, PS3, PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbone, and the PC. And everybody under the sun is going to buy it, except me.
And me.
And I will make that a hat trick.
Cool. Excellent. Glad we're all united. But yeah, that thing's going to sell like hotcakes. I imagine most people already know if they've bought it or not. Especially as we consider this podcast going to go out on Tuesday, people will have bought it by the time they listen to this, if they listen to this. People will probably be playing it instead of listening to this, and they are terrible people if they do.
The views at the bottom of my shows.
Hey, they won't know. They're busy playing Call of Duty.
Fair point.
Well, they don't know that I've just insulted them. Sneaky tactics there.
I don't know. You're insulting potential viewers. You're murdering shopkeepers. That happens at the John I used to know.
I murdered him and took his place and watched him in his sleep.
I like how we tie everything together on this
I
podcast.
do. It all ties together in one neat little bundle.
Like the Humble bundle that we mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I'm so sad no one's here to high-five me.
You can have a virtual high five.
Yay!
I will find you that GIF of the hand on the screen and you can place your hand to it.
I look forward to it.
On November 4th, we have The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Which, if Steam is correct, I think Will's already bought.
I did buy this quite a while ago. It kind of looked like the same game, though, just with more stuff.
That it was pretty much what I'm kind of expecting it to be, if I'm completely honest.
Looking at the cover art picture they've used, I feel like this was a Halloween game that they should have busted out a week earlier.
Maybe. Actually, it probably would have been well timed for Halloween, actually. No, it's a game about a baby with it's like a super religious mother who locks him in the basement and forces him to fight off his aborted siblings. It's a bit fucked up. And by a bit fucked up, it's monumentally fucked up.
It's like after they did Super Meat Boy, they just thought, we'll go for broke.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the most messed up game you've ever fucking seen. It's ridiculous. And this is, I guess this is a sequel to it, is it, kind of, basically?
It kind of just looks the same, just, expanded.
I suppose actually the description of it says it's an update stroke remake. And it's like, it didn't come out that long ago. It's not like we're talking about some friggin' pixel art game from the late 80s or anything that needs remaking. This is a game from 3 years ago, maybe?
If that.
Yeah. It's like, it's not really due for a remake at this point. I mean, sure, have a sequel, but a remake's not really necessary.
No, I'll be honest, I forgot I even paid for it. I'll probably have to play that this week, just to see how it's fared.
Fair enough. Just say, the original one didn't have a pixel art style. This one, I think, doesn't it? Which is kind of like they've gone backwards. It's like they've remade it with lower res graphics, which is like hilarious. Yes,
I don't know. I'll find out this week.
It's not a HD remake. It's an LD remake. It's a little bit strange. We also, on the same day, we have Rocksmith 2014 edition on the PS4 and the Bone, which I guess has already been out for a while. This is re-releasing. That's a game that lets you plug your guitar into your computer, or indeed console, I suppose, and use it as the controller. And it's supposed to be a really fast way to learn guitar. And
one of my friends actually had it for the PS3.
All right.
So yeah, it's kind of pretty much a slight step up from Rock Band, really.
I mean, I've got a guitar that's gathering dust and has been for a few years now, and honestly, I really like the idea of it, but it's a bit steep in he's talking about a full price title, which doesn't come with many tracks on it. Then they try and sell you a bunch of DLC, and you need to buy like a 30 quid cable just to be able to connect your guitar into the PC to make it work in the first place. So it's kind of a little bit out of my price range, honestly. It's like, I like the idea, though. I don't know how well it works, to be honest. I should probably look up sort of reviews and whatnot. But it sounds cool.
Yeah, it seemed a fun game when I played it.
On Wii U, we have Citizens of Earth. I have no idea what this is.
I do like the cover art.
Yeah, there's a big newspaper in a cartoony style saying, Earth has a new vice president.
Unfortunately, it's not Nixon.
He is not a crook. When Earthbound meets Little King's story, you get Citizens of Earth. I've never played Earthbound, and I'm not familiar with the Little King's story, so that's the least helpful description I've ever heard for me.
Yeah, that's not very clear.
An RPG in which the player inhabits the Vice President of Earth, who has to recruit citizens that fight battles for him. Fair enough.
Mm.
Don't know. Seems like a very Nintendo kind of thing, to be honest. Don't Die, Mr. Robot. For the Vita is a mobile action game where the player controls the eponymous droid trying to eat explosive fruit to kill the evil machines out to kill him. I think this is a mobile port.
Yeah.
Wow, check the screenshots. If you've not checked the screenshots, check the screenshots. That looks like something that's in Xbox Live indie games section. It's a bit crude. So that's a Vita quality for you. We have a Blaze Rush coming out on the PS3, which is a bit strange because I thought it came out last Tuesday because I reviewed the bloody thing.
I've just looked at Mr. Robot's screenshots. Good God.
Yeah. So Blaze Rush, they don't have much on here, but I can tell you about it because I actually played it. So I played the PC version, which came out last Tuesday, and it said it was going to have a simultaneous PS3 release, but according to Giant Bomb, it's actually out later this week instead. So PS3 is a top-down racing combat game. It's visually, I think a lot of people would say it looked a lot like Rock and Roll Racing. Gameplay-wise, it's more inspired by Micro Machines and Mashed, which I think more people have heard of than I tend to give credit to. It's a game I played a heck of a lot of in my university years, and it's a lot of fun. Very arcadey, it's very good for getting a bunch of people around on a sofa together to play it together. Probably less entertaining online, but if you've got some friends and you want something to have a few drinks and play a few games with, that's probably quite an entertaining one to snag. I can recommend it.
Sounds alright.
Mm-hmm. Disney Infinity Marvel Superheroes.
I swear this was supposed to be coming out a few weeks ago.
Was it? I don't remember.
I'm sure we've discussed this.
I really don't remember. It does say released September 23rd, 2014, so I guess we probably have covered it before, actually. I guess this must be...
For the network on the PS3?
This one's on this one's on PS3. I guess it's already out on a bunch of other platforms, so this is PS3 release for the Marvel for Disney Infinity.
Yep.
We have MXGP on PS4 and PS3 and PS Vita, which is the official Motocross Grand Prix video game.
Oh, it's the official.
The official one, yes, no less. If you're into motocross, probably your thing. If you're not into motocross, probably not your thing, is I suspect the best way I could possibly pitch that one.
I think that's the only way you could pitch that one.
Yes, indeed. How to Survive, Storm Warning Edition. How to Survive is a isometric zombie survival game with hunger mechanics, and I do remember it getting some very sort of mixed reviews originally. I guess this is just kind of a sort of updated edition with more stuffs in it.
Yeah, it's solely for the PS4 though. So.
How to Survive itself is already out on a number of other platforms, so I guess this, yeah. Back. You have some manner of animal with you.
Yep, a dog may have just bumbled into the room. Might
we have...
want to ignore that.
Okay. The Wolf Among Us is out November 4th. That's already out. Is this out on another platform? PS4, PS3, Vita... Yeah, I guess basically the PlayStation platforms version of The Wolf Among Us. I'm not sure if that's finished yet. That's an episodic... That's one of Telltale's new form, the new update, the new way to do point-and-click stories. with better storytelling and whatnot, is what it's generally considered to be. They were doing it episodic. I'm not sure if they've in 5 parts. Certainly, I don't know which episode they're up to. If they've done actually 5 parts for it yet, I think they might be on part 4 at present. But I've generally heard pretty good things about that. I should probably check that out at some point if I'm honest. We have Snark Busters High Society.
This looks thrilling.
Which I'm pretty sure this is a mobile game because it specifically lists iPhone and Android as being games on the platforms it's on. However, this is the PlayStation Network version. I can't tell you a bloody thing. When her fiancé is arrested for stealing, photographer Elizabeth Hughes must find evidence to exonerate him in this hidden object adventure. Okay, hidden objects, that's all I can tell you about it. So, if you like hidden objects, maybe. For Wii U, we have Pia Sola and the Great Architects, which we talked about a while back. That was on a few other platforms a few weeks back, so we've already kind of dealt with that one. Wii U, we also got the Swapper, which is again already out on a bunch of other platforms, so it's sort of just being ported to a new one. It's a 2D indie puzzle platformer, which allows you to like clone yourself and swap between clones and stuff, and some weird, really dark puzzles which involve basically like killing lots and lots of clones and then just making a bridge out of their corpses and stuff.
Which isn't morbid at all.
I know, right? We've got Pokemon Puzzle Challenge.
See, this podcast brings everything back around.
Not intentionally, I might add, but this is Pokemon Tetris, is what this is.
It does look fun.
This is for 3DS, and it is a remake of one that came out in 2000 for the Game Boy Color. In fact, it's probably not even a remake, it'll be just a re-release.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
We have a game for the Wii U called Sports Ball, which is I like that as a name because it's almost a mockery of sports generally, but okay. It's a local multiplayer game for 4 players who take the reins of exotic birds who will flap, tackle, and dunk balls into field net for points and glory. I won't lie, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, that does sound awesome.
That sounds like the sort of thing we might have at the next mashup, to be honest.
It's a pity it's on the Wii U, though.
We have a Wii U.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, we had one at the last event.
Oh, well, that shows
it was running Mario Kart because we had nothing else to play on it.
Oh, let's invest in Sports Ball.
There's nothing else worth playing on it.
There's a new Smash Bros. Out, is there not?
Oh, yes, there is. I forgot about Smash Bros.
And I guess there's the Thing with the Thing.
The Thing.
The Thing.
Ooh,
Thing. If we say thing for long enough, it'll happen.
Hyrule Warriors, that's what I'm thinking of. Which again, it's not a multiplayer game, but it's a fairly well-received title, I think. I mean, it's for people who like Nintendo and who like Dynasty Warriors and want them both to meet in some sort of weird shipping thing.
Okay.
And it did. So now you can play as Link and swing a sword around and kill hundreds of people with one swing of the sword. Because that's how sword fights work.
Oh, yeah. I'll have a look at this next one.
Are you talking about a bird story?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're liking the look of that, because I'm really fucking hyped for this one. This is a game by Freebird Games, who is a one-man studio and the man who made To the Moon, which was my game of the year 2012.
Yeah.
And it's one of, if not the best games I've ever played in my life. And I really, really want to play this badly.
So
I am so looking forward.
Describe that bird story for us.
It's I can't tell you what it's going to be like, to be honest. I mean, assuming it's anything similar to the Moon, it's going to be it's entirely made in RPG Maker, which a lot of people just go, oh, I'm not going to play that, it's crap. But it's more about narrative than anything else. The guy just tells goddamn beautiful stories. It's got a fantastic soundtrack, or at least going back to the Moon. To the Moon had a fantastic soundtrack. It had a beautiful narrative, an amazing story, and it was just there was nothing complex or nothing really deep gameplay wise, but it's just a joy to play through and through, regardless. And I think A Bird Story ties into the same canon somewhere. I'm not sure if it's. I think this is supposed to be like halfway between. It might be halfway between To the Moon and the next major story in the same universe. I think he's planning on doing a few stories within the To the Moon universe. And I think A Bird Story ties in there somewhere. I'm not rightly sure of the context, but I'm dying to find out. I did write to him asking for a review copy, and I really want to get in on that. I know one of my more cynical colleagues, who I won't name names of, to be honest, but one of my more cynical colleagues was like, oh, this is one of PewDiePie's favourite games ever. Or To the Moon was, anyway. So he's bound to play A Bird Story. I wonder if I can get a review copy so that I can beat PewDiePie to playing it. This was a guy who'd never heard of this game, or To the Moon, by the way. And me and Fixer from the Strangeland server were like, oh my god, A Bird Story's out in a week, we can't wait for this game, this is going to be the best thing ever. And this other guy was like, what are you talking about? Oh, PewDiePie really likes that game. I should probably get it and beat PewDiePie to playing this game. I'm like, you cold-hearted, cynical...
I'm so glad that you stopped yourself from finishing the sentence. And calling that bastard out.
I very, very doubt he'd ever watch this, to be honest, but I don't know. It just seems like when we're talking about such a beautiful, fantastic narrative and one of the best game designs ever, just to say, oh, this is a very good opportunity for me to market my brand and beat PewDiePie to covering an important game. It's like, that's such a cynical way to look at it. It's really disheartening, to be honest, is what it is.
Oh dear.
Oh well, that's all our releases on from our giant bomb list, because we just copy what they've got.
Yep.
Trade secrets.
Spoilers.
Spoilers indeed. On Steam, the other release list we look at, we have Call of Duty, obviously. Indeed. Oh, there we go. We've got Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for £40. We have Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Season Pass for another £35. And presumably then you've also got the Day Zero. I'm just trying to get what the prices are on that, just so I can see how much they're gouging people.
It's a significant amount, I would say.
I may be wrong on this, actually. I was like, there's so many different friggin' packages on their page, to be honest, so I can't figure out which one I'm actually supposed to be looking at. We've got the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Digital Pro Edition, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Upgrade to Digital Pro, and then Season Pass. And then there's also Day Zero Edition, which doesn't show up separately on the store. I don't know how they're managing that one. I'm not rightly sure I care to know anyway, so...
Let's move on.
Who gives a damn? I don't think they need us to market it for them, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be just fine.
Also out we have Depth, which is... I guess this is kind of the in thing at the minute, so all of a sudden there's like a bunch of these popped up in the last couple of weeks, which is asymmetrical multiplayer. I mean, obviously we've just had... I just talked earlier about Natural Selection 2 Combat. Obviously, I think that's probably ending today at time of recording. There's the early alpha limited group for Evolve, which is made by the guys who did Left 4 Dead, and that's their team of 4 guys teaming up against a giant fucking dinosaur kind of asymmetrical multiplayer thing. And now we've got Depth, which is a team of divers facing off against sharks.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
It sounds biased to me.
Really?
I'd favour sharks every time.
Well, the divers have guns, which I'm not rightly sure how that one works. I'm reasonably confident guns don't tend to work underwater, do they?
Not necessarily. I think boomsticks work. Is like a gun, but without a barrel.
A gun without a barrel?
Yeah, so it just discharges as soon as you hit something with it.
Okay.
That's my knowledge of underwater weaponry.
These guys are using handguns. They've just got pistols. They're just shooting the shark in the face.
Yeah, I don't think that works.
I don't think that works. I mean, again, there's one guy with an assault rifle. I'm pretty sure that one doesn't work. So, I don't know.
I'm liking this game less and less.
I like the interesting idea. I mean, like I say, asymmetrical combat seems to be kind of the thing at the minute. I don't know. I mean, probably worth taking a look at, to be honest. I should probably give him a prod and say, hey, I want to take a look.
Have you got the natural selection bug now?
I think it's an interesting thing, the asymmetrical thing. I don't know. It's just kind of different to the way everything else has been done up till now. I guess I don't know why everything's come along at once. It's like buses, I guess. And it's just all of a sudden 3 games popped up in the same week that have all gone, hey, both teams have got entirely different powers and abilities, and you need to work to your strengths and whatnot. I do still think the Shark sounds overpowered, but you know, I'm not sure. Again, it might be like Evolve. It may not. It may be that the teams are not the same size. I mean, natural selection, the teams were generally pretty balanced, but in something like Evolve, it's 4v1 because 1 is ridiculously powerful. It may be that there's like 10 divers to like 3 sharks or something. I don't know. They could balance it that way. I have no idea.
Not that we're condoning shark slaughter or anything.
Well, it's self-defense in this instance. The shark is literally trying to eat your face.
I don't know. If you're bringing an AK-47 underwater, I think you've got some questionable intentions.
Hey, as Troy McClure once epically put it, if a cow had the chance, he'd eat you and your entire family. The shark is no different.
Fair enough. That's a little bit, strange. We have the Talos principle. Did we not talk about this at some stage? I feel like we did.
Maybe it's been delayed.
Maybe it might have been. Oh, hang on. No, I'm not. I think this is. Oh, this is one that's listed as. It keeps popping up in the middle of the list because it still just says fall 2014. Actually, I keep grabbing that one because it just. It doesn't actually have a release date. It's not going to be out this week. It still just says fall 2014, but for some reason it pops up on our list alongside the November the 3rd releases. In spite of it not being November 3rd. Moving on, we have Defenders of Time, which is, in spite of a name that made me go, ooh, that sounds interesting, it's tower defense. It is apparently 1950s chrome punk tower defense. I'm not familiar with 1950s chrome punk, to be honest. And honestly, the game's not really illuminating me in that regard either, to be honest.
Are we not just adding punk for the sake of punk onto random words now?
I think that may be the way of the world, yes. It's everything punk.
I mean, you've got your cyberpunk, steampunk, and diesel punk, and I'm sure it's got loads of subgenres from there, but those are the only ones that really count for me.
And I've always kind of it irks me. Diesel punk's always one that's always irked me because it's sort of just kind of an extension of steampunk. I realise it's a slightly different era, but I don't know, when people are like, oh, that's not steampunk, that's diesel punk, that's not diesel punk, that's steampunk. It's like, you're getting really frigging pedantic at this point. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
People just want to dress up and look cool or play a game that looks cool or whatever. It's like, who cares about the nitty-gritty about whether that actually belongs to that era in time or not? Who cares?
You've become so cynical.
I was going to say, I mean, if you go back before steampunk, if you start going early, if you take a style earlier in the steampunk, you're looking at clockwork. You get clockpunk, which is actually a thing. And it's like, oh, for God's sake, guys, clockwork still exists to this day. I'm pretty sure it evolved. It was still around in the age of steam, so they could probably use clockwork then as well. So clockwork falls under steampunk in my book.
Good to know.
Good to know. Good to know indeed. We have... Oh, hang on, what have we got? We have... Oh, you'll love this one. You will love this one. This is like probably Game of the Year.
Yeah, I did like the way it sounds.
World of Subways 1, The Path.
Yay!
Which is New York Subway Simulator.
You know the Bottom Mash podcast. We love a good simulator.
We do. We are big fans of the genre of games in which there's no fucking point to its existence.
Take my money now. Take it from my fist.
This one's really. I don't get this one. I mean, stuff like Euro Truck Simulator and whatnot. At least you get to drive around. What are you doing when you're running a subway car? You've got stop and go. You don't even get to steer it.
You just kind
What are you doing with your life that this is entertaining? Holy shit.
Hang on a minute. I'm beginning to get the impression you might not think this is a good game.
You might be right. Good lord. All the screenshots have got black bars on it, which makes me think it only runs in 4:3 resolution as well, which is concerning. Just from a technical standpoint, no, even if one were to assume that the game was decent, which would be a poor assumption, I feel. If you go onto the website, there are 2 more of them as well. This is World of Subways 1. There's World of Subways 2 and 3. World of Subways 2 is the Berlin Unterbahn, and which I have familiarity with myself after recent exploits. Not that I would recommend it. And World of Subways 3 is the London Underground. Just in case you were like, I'm really keen to drive a subway train, but I don't want to drive it around New York. I want to drive my subway train around Berlin.
Berlin subway.
It will perhaps come as no surprise to anyone that this is from a German company.
Is it really?
Yeah. As is the next one.
Oh, this one sounds even better.
We've got logistics company from Germany. As a dock worker in logistics company, that creative business title that it is, it's up to you to move thousands of tons of cargo and goods and make sure that they're shipped on time. Build your tiny warehouse into a major logistics hub and expand it bit by bit with new cargo terminals. Why does this exist? Why is this a thing?
I can just see Will trying to take his fistful of money back so he can buy this.
Oh my god, why? Who keeps investing money in these? Is there just some really, really wealthy person? Like, is there some German equivalent of Notch who's just like, I love these games, keep making them. Here, have a few $100 million to make this one. Now make one about the subway. I want one about the subway. Here, make a subway one. Now, a logistics company. I like the sound of running a logistics company. Here, make that. Nobody's buying it. There's only one guy buying it, but it's just Germany's answer to Notch.
Yeah. You will make the logistics company. Yeah.
Logistics company doesn't even look graphically good. I mean, so the subway one, even if it's got nothing else going for it, it looked reasonably pretty, I guess. Logistics company looks like Lego. Hey. You are running a massive company with Lego toys.
See, when you put it like that, it sounds good.
It's not without the charm of Lego.
It's like Duplo, then.
It's Duplo, yeah. It's Mega Blocks.
See, that's how to put me off a game. Don't say Lego.
Moving on.
Moving on, we have... What else do we have on our list? We have Eldervin, which I can't quite remember what that was offhand. It is a free-to-play MMO from Hunted Cow Studios. It looks a lot like many other MMOs that I have played over the years. Can't really tell you much. I mean, it's an MMO. Chances are there's probably a lot more than ever could possibly be summed up by... in even reviews, to be quite honest. Reviews of MMOs are always lacking because even someone who takes a look at them and puts many, many hours into them, chances are they aren't even going to finish the game because such is the nature of such games. I mean, looking at some of the reviews to pick one of recent example, WildStar, a lot of the reviews were like, oh, I really enjoyed my experience with this game. I only got to level 25, but there we go. It's like, yeah, but if you didn't even get to level 50, you haven't even gotten to see the meat and veg of the game, you know, the main part of it, the raids. You know, it's like, all you've seen is less than half of the leveling experience. It's not... I mean, I realise it's unreasonable to ask someone to put so many hours into the game that they could get to raiding stage before they even reviewed it, because that would take you months, or at least weeks, of very, very much commitment. But, I don't know. Very hard to say anything about an MMO, to be honest. It's an MMO. Make of it what you will. There's little we could say that would help.
Yeah.
We have Polarity. Again, can't remember what that was offhand. It is a vibrantly coloured game where you play the world's most dangerous hacker as you break into a virtual vault, destroying security systems and stealing sensitive data for the mysterious Linus Corporation, which is a first-person puzzler. So, this seems like it's got a very minimalistic thing going on, which I quite like the look of those kind of games, to be honest. I like my minimalism in first-person stuff. Hard to say much of what it's got going on, because that's not really especially helpful, but first-person puzzlers, that's the thing.
Good to know.
Good to know indeed. I've got a bird story, we've already done that. Got Crown Takers, which is... I can't make out quite exactly what this is. A turn-based strategy with RPG elements, it calls it. It looks, visually speaking, like a more stylized version of King's Bounty, potentially. But it may not be. I'm just what I can make out of it offhand. It's probably not. I don't think it has quite the same depth to combat as something like King's Bounty. I think it's a lot more simplified. Certainly, the trailer's a fantastic one to watch. The trailer is great because the combat in this is very, very limited. It seems like the animations are just really minimalistic animations, small shots at each other, firing an arrow maybe, and it's got the most epic music over the top of it. It's like, this music is thoroughly inappropriate for what is going on the screen. It's like the most dramatic thing. You'd expect massive armies clashing with dragons and shit for this kind of music, and there's just a couple of guys firing a couple of arrows back and forth at each other. It's like, yeah, it doesn't quite work, guys. Good effort. Kudos to you for that, but yeah, it doesn't entirely work.
You'll turn my try.
Gold Rush Anniversary. Normally I wouldn't tend to dwell on like remakes and stuff, but it's a fairly old game that's been around for some time, so it's, I guess, a remake of something that came out in 1988. This game is almost as old as me.
Blimey.
Yeah, this is a game called Rush. It says in 1988, Rush appeared with gold in one of the most comprehensive adventure games of the 80s, and now this is Gold Rush. So, it's a game set during, perhaps surprisingly enough, the Gold Rush.
Cool.
Honestly, in reading the description of it, it sounds kind of Oregon Trail-y. But I suspect it probably didn't at the time, but it's kind of got all, some rather basic but nonetheless 3D graphics going on now, so probably got more going on in the actual day-to-day of things than Oregon Trail, but it sounds like it's similar kind of thing. It's sort of heading out west to go try and make your fortune kind of thing.
Sounds right.
Indeed. We've also got QP shooting dangerous! Exclamation mark.
Well, we've got two exclamation marks. You know it's a good one.
Well, it's Japanese. It's one of those very, very Japanese things. It is. It's a bullet hell shoot 'em up starring the pudding-loving dog girl QP seen in 100% orange juice. Which
nope.
100% orange juice, and I do know what that is. It was I think it was a bit of a Mario Party knockoff with a lot of anime characters from whoever the publisher's franchises are, and I guess this is one of the characters from it, now in a bullet hell shooter. It's a very cartoony, seems like a fairly charming kind of thing, but at the same time, it's a bullet hell shooter. It's obnoxiously hardcore. There's just like there's one tiny gap on the screen where you can get through where you won't die. If you take one step to the side, you will die. Hit the gap and then kill ridiculous bosses shooting thousands and thousands of bullets at you at any given time. It's that kind of thing.
Right.
I don't dislike those games. I played more than a few of those games, but at the same time, they take more dedication than I'm prepared to commit to make it to actually ever make any kind of headway in them. They're only for the hardest of cores, really. And I think by the looks of things, this is no different. But there you go. That is our releases for the week. So, we want to bring things to a close.
Yes, I think we might as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much for listening. If you want to find out more information about Button Mash, you can find us on Facebook at.
Facebook.com/button mash.
You can follow us on Twitter at.
Twitter.com/button_mash_UK.
If you want to see John play some video games, you can follow him and you can look him up on YouTube at.
YouTube.com/button mash empire.
We do apologise, the Meroka channel's still in development.
As is every other channel we've ever promised.
Don't worry, they will be a coming.
Maybe.
You can find us on Steam at.
Is bit.ly bit.ly/BM Steam.
And you can check out on our website at
button-mash.net.
Right. I think that's everything. I've not missed anything out of it.
Not that I can think of offhand. And if you want to throw some money at supporting me making videos, you can do that at patreon.com/buttonmash.
Nicely done, sir. So, on behalf of myself, on behalf of John,
Thank you.
and on behalf of Will,
Cheers.
this has been the Button Mash Podcast. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week. Adios.
Bye.
Oh, cheery, bye.